Hello and welcome to In the Spotlight, Staff TV's first broadcast of the academic year. It's been great to have you with us this evening. I'm Josh and hope you've had a great summer. We certainly did. We're coming to you tonight from the 5th floor of the Mellor building in this wonderful student space. Now we've got a lot of shows planned for you this year and this is how you can get involved with some of them. There's no excuse not to either get involved or sit back and watch Staffs TV this year. Talking of getting involved, you can tweet your questions tonight using the hashtag SpotlightStaffs. We'll be catching up with Hannah in our social media hub later. Now on to tonight's show, and we're going to be finding out what the student union officers have been up to over the summer and what they've got planned for the year. Of course, Sveta, Jaime-Lee, Ben and Darren were all elected at the end of the last academic year, and as ever, it is our job to hold them to account on the promises they made in their manifestos. So please welcome your union officers, President Jaime-Lee Cunningham, Vice President Darren Clark, and Vice President Sveta Reddy. Now, as you can probably tell, we are missing Ben this evening. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us, but we'll be hearing from him a little later on in the programme. So first of all, let's get to know your union officers. Please tell us a little bit about yourselves and your background at Staffordshire University.
So I study psychology, and so I've done my first 2 years, and then last year I did a year as Vice President, and then this year moved up to President, and then I'll do my final year next year, so this will be my 4th year at Staffs. I love it here, but I can't wait to get back to studying as well. It's great.
And Darren, just a little bit about yourself and the background.
So this is my start of my 4th year at Staffs. Came to Staffs, a little quiet Irishman. Joined the Stafford campus rugby. 2nd year I was a halls warden, I was bar staff, and I moved into a managerial position. Did my placement as one of the venue managers for the student union last year, and here I am now as one of the officers for 16-17.
And Sveta, a bit about yourself and the background at Staffs University.
I'm studying Masters in Business and basically from India. So I'm an international student. The reason why I moved to England is just to run away, have an independent life. So I thought, let's for a change go to another country and stay here. And I started as academic rep, volunteering with the international office, and then 2 years as a staff member, and then finally as vice president.
Jaime-Lee, what does the role of officer mean to you, and how important is it to get the students represented?
It's massive. It's the key thing for students to be represented. So I think it's really daunting if a student's got an issue and they don't want to go to the lecturer or they don't want to be seen as complaining, that they've got us there. So we're there to support academic reps who have a big job of supporting their cohort. So we're there to talk to staff for them, to talk to the university. And without that, students wouldn't raise these issues. So it's just almost that comfort for them that if they have got an issue, we are there for them and we'll do everything we can to sort it.
And Darren?
Representation is just absolutely key to the student experience. Without it, students wouldn't be able to put in their thoughts on what they want out of their university to the university. So having ourselves and other elected sabbatical officers over the years, we can bring up issues to the university, make them improvements, and make sure that you're getting your £9,000 worth of tuition per year and student experience. So it really is a key part within staff's life to have your representation in there.
And Sveta, what does it mean to you to be a student union officer?
It feels absolutely brilliant. I felt very welcomed and inclusive when I moved in here. So I thought, why not give it something, do my bit to the students and make it a better place and give them a better student experience. So that's it.
And back to you, Jaime-Lee. What areas do you represent the students in within the university?
So in terms of faculty, I represent the health sciences. So any students that fall under the health sciences faculty, I'm their key representative. But if a student from a different faculty had an issue, I'm not going to say not my faculty. And then in terms of strand, it's positive impact. So that's ensuring that students are being impacted by the union in a positive way. Because a lot of students don't realise they're using a union service. So if they use the advice centre or shops, and it's ensuring they know that it's us and that we're here for them and that what we do is for students and students only. And then in terms of campaigns, I'm working a lot around mental health again this year and Ask for Help, so academic services, and then working with Blackheath Lane and Shrewsbury, which are our satellite campuses, and just ensuring that they don't feel like now that Beaconside's gone, that they're on their own. So it's just working with the students there to make sure they still feel part of staffs.
And Darren?
So obviously I represent every single staff student that's out there, but my main focuses are Faculty of Arts and Creative Technologies. I haven't come from that faculty myself, free music technology. It was just great that I could represent my faculty as well. Of course, Jam said, we represent all students, so if you're not comfortable with coming up to anyone else, come to ourselves. We'll represent you no matter what faculty. My strand, whenever it comes to it, is belonging. Belonging strand is about just making staffs feel like home. This is your university, that you belong to this university, that you can go back to your hometown and say, I go to Staffordshire University, I'm really proud to go to there, I belong there, I feel at home at Staffs. So I think that's a really key part of any work the Students' Union University does. So some of the stuff that I've been looking at is the likes of facility access, making sure that trying to get our facilities a lot more accessible, looking at the affordability of prices, because off the back of the high five referendum last year, the students told us was the second most important thing to them. So I looked at that, and I ran into the NUS, and I got involved there. I ran for a position in their services directive and oversight boards, and I got elected. So not just as staff students' voices being heard here at Staffordshire University, students' voices are being heard in every single students' union up and down the country now, because that students have been able to put me in that role, tell me what they want, and I've been able to go forward and do that.
And Sveta, what about you? What areas do you represent the students in across the university?
I am with Business Education Law faculty. So my stand is again a competitive edge, which was one of the issues that student mentioned in the high five referendum. So all the 4 officers are sharing these responsibilities. Jaime-Lee is with mental health services and Darren is with affordable prices, myself with employability. So the reason and what drives me to do this is to make students realize that how important is it to focus while at the university so they have a better career in future. And apart from that, I've also mentioned that I'll make this campus vibrant. So we're working towards it.
And we know that you've been working hard all over the summer. What's already been put in place for the start of the academic year?
So at the moment, we've been working on the mental health campaign again. So last year was more around the stigma. This year, we've been working with the key contacts in the university to ensure that the services that students need are there. So a 6-week waiting list for the university or 6 months for NHS isn't going to do a student any good if they're struggling with a mental health issue. So it's just ensuring if they need to see someone, there is somebody they can speak to in the meantime while they're waiting for an appointment. So that's going really well at the moment, and we're still having meetings with the university, but it's looking really good. And then Ask for Help, which is an academic services campaign, will be rolling out next month. So we've been working on that, working with the lecturers to ensure that we can work with all the students on getting the best out of their year.
Yeah, and Darren?
So obviously my main focus has been around what students have told us, and that was the affordability of prices. As I said, I was elected to the National Union of Students Directive and Oversight Board, so that is taking some time of me away from staffs and going to Macclesfield to represent students nationally there. So we meet every so often and discuss things that the NUS can do for students on prices of, say, I think we had a discussion on making the meal deal more accessible to students in shops, because that shop isn't, or that meal deal isn't from us, it's one of NUS's one, and we facilitate it by paying our affiliation to NUS. Some of the other things I've been talking about in transformation is looking at facility access, make sure that the studios are ready for students, still working very closely with the university and pushing facilities to be more accessible, pushing that 24/7 that we were promising, which disappointingly it hasn't got there yet, but we're getting closer and closer. And hopefully the university will be close to giving us something like that. You may have noticed over Welcome Week we had the welcome wristbands for the first time ever. The savings you got from buying them came up to the hundreds. So it's getting from everything from just 2 weeks within the venues right up through to every gobble, every mucky throughout the year, some hoodies, NUS extra cards, giving students those bundles so they pay just a lump sum and they get so much more value for their money than they did before. So there has been a lot of work within the shops, the venues. And my next focus, I'm going to move on to academic societies and start having a look at how students can get together and have fun around the academics that they're looking at and what they study, and giving people opportunity to learn something new by coming into academic societies. So hopefully that's my next focus.
And Sveta, what have you been working on over the summer for the academic year?
Since my strand is competitive edge, so I'm working on something that is related to employability. So we've been working closely with the Careers team to organize this Careers Fest, which is happening on 7th November. So we're bringing industries onto campus and some workshop sessions to motivate and encourage students to see the big picture, and coming up with employability campaign, again creating opportunities for students. So I'm doing a project which is a vlog project with the film production students, which is still in the planning stage, and I'm working closely with events management tutors and these students. So we said the first event will be Diversity Fashion Show, which will be on 11th December. So more coming for the whole year. Again, facilitating the campus vibrancy at the same time doing the academic work. And apart from that, trying to increase the academic society number. And that's where the interpersonal engagement starts. And that's how they kick off and start discussing in groups and working together to increase their prospects.
Talking more in the future for the next week or so, what are you going to be working on within the next 7 days?
So this week and next week, my main focus are the Ask for Help campaign and the mental health campaign. So I'm currently working with lecturers from all the different faculties to ensure that from the 24th to 28th of October, students have access to all facilities that they need and that they know what they can get from these services. So we're looking at rolling out that campaign, putting together all the materials, and then we're also working on a blueprint document. So at the end of every year, students will fill out a student viewfinder survey, or if they're third years, the national student survey, and we take all that data, put it together, get all the comments, and we make a blueprint document and feed it to the university and say this is what students want. So this document is really important because it's everything students have said is in this document, and we say, look, this is what they want. Can we work together and throughout the year get a positive impact out of it? So it doesn't sound interesting, but it's a fantastic document.
And Darren, what will you be working on in the next 7 days or so?
Tomorrow, starting off we're having another smaller society fair, so I hope to be around that, see students so that they can get a second opportunity to go around our societies and see what we have here at Staffs and give it a go and get involved and meet people that's got your interests. I've got development board coming up next week, so we're looking at what the university's doing with that and what sort of strategies are coming off that. Friday morning, I've got a meeting within the union. We're going to look at a strategy towards our academic societies, along with a couple of the union staff in SWEFA, because as of yesterday we got Board of Governor buy-in to academic societies. We asked the question, and the Board of Governors agreed, so that means we've got university buy-in to our academic societies now, which is absolutely a huge win for students, that the university's there for them now in their academic societies. And I suppose just out and about, see people and whatever else comes up, and dealing with student problems as they come every day.
And Sweta, what are you working on in the next 7 days or so?
I'm meeting lecturers from FACT and FCES faculties to discuss about what industries we'll be bringing on campus and how we can make it more appealing to students. How do we get them on board? And what else? I have a Learn and Gain project is another opportunity where students can. It's a test where students can analyze the skills and where they stand at the moment, and again revisit again at the end of the year, and see the changes what happened during a year. So it's a way to have a reality check, and a couple of meetings with one of your crew members regarding blog project.
I'm moving on to Jaime-Lee. What did you think of Welcome Week this year, and do you think the students enjoyed the activities that were planned for them?
I thought Welcome Week was fantastic, and I hope the students enjoyed it. There was such a buzz on campus, it was fantastic. So we had over 100 events throughout the week, and a lot of them were student-led. So our clubs and societies were running their own events, which is what we want. It's building their CV that they've ran these events, and everyone seemed really happy. And then the following week we had another 40 events. So it's showing students that throughout the year, if you've got an event you want to run, you can run it. And all the new students seemed really happy to be there, and just the vibe on campus was lovely. So it was great.
And Darren, how are you supporting student-run events this year and getting the students involved in them?
Well, starting off with clubs and societies, it's never been easier to be part of a club or society. So by getting students involved in them, we've been able to cut the price of clubs this year to join up. It's easier for students to access these, which means we've got a bigger pool of students to have the bright ideas for better events, bigger events, and work with them closely. We're got starting up your own society. So if you look at your clubs and societies here at Staffs and you feel there's not one there for you, if you scroll down to the bottom on our clubs and societies list, there is a little button that says submit a form to create your own club or society. It means that students can do almost whatever they want at university in their free time, and hopefully find people that enjoy their activities. We do give new startups up to £100 to start up, so that means we're giving you free money to do what you enjoy. So you can't see anything bad in that. We do full development planning with students. We have free access to the likes of the student spaces like LRV for students, so you don't have to pay to book out our facilities. They're there for you. It is the Students' Union. It's a company for the students, by the students, so why would we ever charge anyone for the venue spaces? So everything's free. We'll help you plan where need be. We'll help you with risk assessments. We'll help students develop their ideas into bigger than they thought it could have ever been. We'll sit down one-to-one with students and discuss where we can get it to.
And this year, Sveta, you're looking into the competitive edge. Can you explain what your plans are to support the student experience here at Staffs?
So for starting off, the events which will be organized for this year will be actually led by the students, events management students. That's a start of project, and we have lined up projects throughout the year. Again, it's another way for them to get the experience while they're at the university. And that makes the campus vibrant, both the ways the students are doing it and they're also getting the best experience out of it. Apart from that, vlog project, which is another medium to showcase the student talent. So again, everything is said it in a very light humor way, so they enjoy what they're doing. So maybe the turnout for the societies this time is massive, and the way they approach, it seems like they're running a small industry by themselves. They're so enthusiastic. They come, what are we doing next? So bringing everything together, working closely with the societies and the events team, and again with the film production. So all this contributes towards competitive edge, and that's about it.
And Jaime-Lee, have your vice presidents been working hard over the summer?
Yeah, incredibly hard. From day one, well, even before they'd started the role, they just jumped straight into it. You wouldn't think that I was the only returning officer. They worked so hard, they caught on to everything. Some of the boards and committees that we sit on are really difficult, and you wouldn't think that we were all new to them. We just go in, and if university staff ask something of us, we'll go ahead and do it for students. So Darren's worked really well with venues and with shops and making sure that everything that students want are there. Employability Sweather's done so much work on that, which is fantastic, because students need to be recognised for what they're doing. And then Ben with sports, he just doesn't stop, and it's just so nice to see him out and about. He's working with the university, with the union, so I couldn't wish for a better team.
And Darren, housing was a huge part of your manifesto throughout your campaign last year. How are your plans going so far?
Well, so far, as far as I'm aware, all students are housed, which is a good start. Everyone's got a place to live at here in Stoke or in Stafford. So obviously we have our letting service, GreenPad, which we operate under the Students' Union. That means that any houses that we are selling through that, the landlords have had to meet a very strict set of guidelines for their houses to make sure that they're safe for students, that they are environmentally friendly, and is a comfortable living environment for students. Now, the university offered a guaranteed accommodation for anyone that came in through clearing, and we do pick up the overspill from that on through GreenPad. And we were expecting maybe 30, 40 students through that, but to our surprise, we ended up having to house over 150 students. So that was a lot of pressure, and the GreenPad team, I can't praise them high enough for how amazing they've coped through this. It was a very difficult time. It was so much more than we were expecting. We weren't ready for that vast amount of students to house, but we were out there from knocking on landlords' doors and doing the checks and staying and working until really late in the night to make sure that all students had a place to stay whenever they arrived at staffs. It's been amazing. So we're going to meet with the university and talk about how GreenPad fits in the student accommodation at staffs, and really look at where we sit alongside the university accommodation office and see where that comes from. So really looking forward to where that we have the housing for our students, and that we can offer those guaranteed accommodation offers to students whenever they come to staffs.
Thanks. And in your manifesto, Sveta, you mentioned about more space available for clubs and societies. What plans do you have to fulfil this?
When I was a student, I was part of some clubs and societies when we had this problem of having social gatherings. Now I think that's very much resolved, because the venues are also welcoming this time, and we are facilitating union boardrooms and venues. Amber Lounge is so welcoming. They do karaoke nights apart from clubs and societies, meetups and give it a go sessions, taster sessions. So far, so that issues has been resolved, but we don't want to stop it there. We want to keep this support going on, and we'll work throughout the year, giving them the support needed.
And Jaime-Lee, last year you in the election you mentioned about the move from Stafford and how that would affect the students down at Shrewsbury Lichfield and BHL. How is this going?
It's going really well so far. So they've recently become Centre of Excellences. So they now have their own services. So instead of relying on us if they need a student guidance advisor, they've got it there. And we're also working on a really exciting project where we are currently recruiting a member of staff for the Centre of Excellences, one for each, and they will be in charge of a pot of money for these students. So if they want to go on a trip or they want to come up to Stoke to a night out at LRV, they can, as a cohort, come to this member of staff and say, can we do this event? And we'll look at providing the funding. Because we realise that what we can offer to Stoke students, we can't offer to them if they're at placement, if they're not on campus. So it's just giving them that opportunity. And they also don't like us putting events on for them. They don't want to go bowling. So they like to be in control of what they're doing. So they seem really excited. It's going really well.
And Darren, last year one of your priorities was 24-hour access to all students. How is this going so far?
So far we've had a few minor setbacks, but as a team we all had this in our priorities in our manifestos, and we are still working very closely with the university. Myself, I sit in transformation board. I know the girls here, they sit in academic board, so it's just a continuing lobbying of the university, making sure that this is a priority for students. Students want to be able to have that value for money. University is not cheap. The courses here are fantastic, the facilities are fantastic, but for students to be able to really achieve in their courses, they need that access to the facilities. So I'd say there's a lot of people will be aware of the cabin studios. We've come back after summer. It used to be 9 to 9 in Stafford for studio access. It's now 9 to 5. Thanks to just how great the school reps that work with us are, the students involved in the courses, and very understanding. I've taken what they've said forward to the university, to the Board of Governors, and the university are now promising to have a good look at it and try and push facility access open back. At the moment, Science Centre is now open to 8 o'clock, so that's open later than ever. Some of the labs are now open to 7 o'clock. So they are starting to push further and further back and later. We're getting very close to just cracking it. I'm looking forward to hopefully in the next few weeks that I can turn around and say we've got a plan. So it's just looking at things like security, making sure students are safe whenever they're there at night, and making sure that the equipment's safe as well with technical supervisors on hand. So the conversations have been happening. So just look forward to it. It will hopefully be something we can achieve very soon.
And Sveta, are there any events already planned for students to get involved in?
Our first event will be on 11th December, which is Diversity Fashion Show. And we'll be having One World Caf, which is during February, and a vlog project, which is still in a planning stage. Hopefully that will be on board quickly, maybe next month. And there's loads more. And we are planning a Colour Fest by the end of the academic year, just to celebrate that we have done a brilliant job throughout the year and deserves a celebration.
And Jaime-Lee, what plans do you have around mental health this year?
So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of it this year, rather than being on the stigma, which we addressed last year, it will be around the services. So just making sure that students can access these services, but also working with the local community. So there's a lot of groups, so Changes and Mind, that work with students and will help them. So it's just making sure that students are aware of the support that's out there. It's not just the university or just NHS. So it's signposting. And just making sure that students know that there are people there for them, no matter where they are.
And Darren, safety is a key part of university life. Could you tell us a little bit about the Be Safe campaign and how you are looking to increase safety on campus?
So safety obviously is a priority for any institution anywhere, and of course our own. So over the last week, if you've seen, all the officers have been out at little tables outside the union, around different union areas, around campus. We've been giving students advice on taxi numbers that the union have vetted are safe to use. That was city cabs, so it was. We were giving out that contact information. Looking after yourself on a night out. Last Wednesday night, I didn't go to gobble myself for a night out. I took a night out from having a party with you all to go around and put little clothes pegs on the side of your drinks. So if anyone seen me or had one of the RLCs help me out, get a peg on the side of your glass, that was creating awareness on drink spiking, saying that the fact that I managed to get that peg on your drink means that someone could have very easily spiked you. But I think creating that awareness means that people will be more diligent with their beverages on a night out and on their safety. Some of the stuff that the university itself's been doing, they have a self-contained control team now. It's hired directly by the university. So that's some fantastic work that they're doing. You'll see them out and about on campus, just doing the rounds and making sure that the campus is safe for you. Back to Be Safe, you may have, if you've come up to the table, we were giving advice on everything. If you look in the venue screens, we've got safety around drugs up on there as well. So it really is about every aspect of university life, where to be safe, being safe in the home, giving out UV pens so you can mark your personal items without actually damaging them with markers, so you can identify your own products. Just that safety in the home as well as out and about around university campus. So it's been good work.
And to all of you, how are the trustees and academic representatives supporting you within your role, and has there been any success this year so far?
They've been incredible so far. The engagement from the student trustees has been incredible because they're still studying at the same time, and so are our school lead reps. But the amount of work they do and the meetings they attend, you couldn't expect any more of them. But if you ask them to do anything, they'll do it for you. And sometimes we're not out on the ground hearing these issues from students, so to get that feedback from them is invaluable. They're just amazing, all of them.
And Darren, around the campus, more unisex toilets have been created to cater for transgender students. Are there any plans to change more toilets around the campus?
So yes, we've been working this week closely with Fee Wood. She's an ex-president of the Students' Union. She just led the creation of the transgender policy for Staffordshire University. Some of the things off the back of that would be that there would be more unisex toilets on campus. The Students' Union, we've got them now, but it's looking at the university having them in more buildings. But of course, I think it's very, very important to remember that if we do have the unisex toilets, we do have that option for people with maybe social anxieties and things like that, making sure that everyone at staffs, the entire membership, is comfortable with where they want to go. So wherever you go in the university, you have the option of just toilets, which I think is one of the best things that has been coming out, and making sure that everyone's just comfortable with who they are. There's nothing better than being comfortable in your own skin, but also making sure that we do identify students that wouldn't be as comfortable with that they have the option to go to a private area as well. So it's just getting the balance right for everyone. But I would like to see more unisex toilets on campus and pushing the university in that direction.
Thank you very much for now, guys. Now, as we mentioned earlier, unfortunately Ben couldn't be with us this evening. However, he has recorded us this message.
Hi there, folks. Sorry I can't be with you tonight. I'm currently in hospital. But that being said, my name's Ben, and I'm one of the Vice Presidents for the Students' Union this year. Part of that role involves looking after the Faculty of Computing, Engineering and Sciences for the year, and also being the shadow officer of sorts for the Faculty of the Arts and Creative Technologies. My overarching remit this year is focusing on student power, and by that I mean your power to better change the Students' Union with all your suggestions and comments of how we could do things better, and through our democratic processes, such as the one that got me elected in the first place. Additionally, one of the overarching aims of the entire Students' Union this year is to make every student proud to be staffs. The way I'm focusing on this is using sport to do so. I'll be heading up sport alongside the sports centre itself to try and make sport the best it can be here at Staffs. On top of this, what I've been up to lately is this past week has marked the start of the Be Safe campaign at the Students' Union. We recognise that for some of you, this may be your first time away from home and feel that it's our responsibility to try and help you be as safe as you can be while you're here. I'm also in the process of setting up a student advocacy system for the Student Advice Centre here in the Students' Union. Hopefully, what this will achieve is getting more of your concerns seen to and addressed, and hopefully make those concerns go away enough that you're enjoying your time here at Staffs. Thank you for your time, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Thanks very much, Ben, for recording that message for us. Now it's time to see what you guys have been saying at home. Over to Hannah in our social media hub.
Thank you very much, Josh. So we have some tweets here for the officers. The first one is from Catherine. I think it's directed at Jaime-Lee. What are your plans in ensuring all students feel proud to be staffs?
So we are currently working with the university on that one. So Proud to be Staffs is something that the union have been passionate about for years now, and the university are also really passionate this year. So being proud to be staffs isn't just being proud of the university or Staffordshire, it's being proud of yourself. So we want to ensure that we're celebrating student successes. There are so many talented students that go missed, and we don't hear about it. So it's hearing about those stories and selling it to everybody else, because we should be celebrating every single student here, and every student should graduate here being proud that they were here and that they spent time with all the other students that are here. So it's just getting that community and just celebrating. That's the main part.
Okay, thank you. And we have another one here to Darren. We have Erin saying, the queues for the LRV are ridiculously long. What are you doing about that?
Yeah, so We have heard the feedback. I myself have been on nights out where I was getting frustrated with the queues, and that was in the first week. Now we took all this into account and we had a meeting with our venue managers and then following that our team leaders. So we're doing lots in the background of little things to speed up the processes. But the things that you'll see mainly on the grounds is on your way into the venue, you'll see now that the queues are clearly marked. If you haven't pre-bought a ticket or have a wristband, you'll be directed into one queue. And if you have a wristband or pre-bought a ticket, you'll be directed in the other. This is to make sure that there's no confusion and that we're getting the same style of customer going in through each door. Then I suppose you're going to wonder about bar queues once you're in through the door. So because you're not going to come to the bar and not want to get a drink. So what we're doing there is if you go on the Students' Union website now at the moment, staffsunion.com/jobs, we are hiring lots and lots of venue staff. We realised we were a wee bit understaffed on club nights. So now we are doing a massive recruitment, I mean huge, to get students more job opportunities, bring them into the venues, and in turn, this will help ease up the queues. So everyone benefits, shorter queues, job prosperity, and employability following that, having kept that job. So if you want to come work for our venues, do check out the Students' Union website and apply, and hopefully you can be one of the people that help us fix this complaint that's coming through to us.
Okay, thank you, Darren. And the final one we'll give to Shweta. We have the Fresh Music Fix asking, what are you putting in place to get more students involved in events?
We are trying to put these opportunities available on Students' Union website because it's a student-led project and the events are organized by students and managed by themselves. And the volunteers, again, that's another opportunity for students to get to volunteer and do a bit of networking. And it's there in the website, and we'll be working along with the clubs and societies, so they will be putting out the events out there. So more students are on board, and it's going to be more fun.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all the tweets for now. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Now, coming up, we'll be talking to some current students at Staffordshire University, talking about their experience during these first few exciting weeks. But first, let's look at everything that's been happening around campus. This is our official Welcome Week video for 2016. I'm now sat with Damien, Claire and James, who are first, second and third year students. So guys, how was Welcome Week for you?
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
And specifically to Damien, accommodation. First of all, what are your thoughts on accommodation?
It's quite a nice place. It's accommodated what I need and plenty of room and enough room to study pretty much.
And whereabouts are you staying?
I'm currently in Ainsley Green. It's Hull's not too far, and people there are really friendly and really nice.
And queues into the LRV and the bar. I know Darren's just been talking about that a short time ago. What are your thoughts on that?
The initial queue to get into the LRV, it looked long, but once I got into it, it seemed to go by quite quick and got in relatively fast.
And did you like the amount of societies and clubs available to you at Freshers' Fair, and have you joined any yet?
There seemed to be a wide variety and stuff I wouldn't have even expected. So far I'm still in the process of thinking which ones to join, but I've got a few in mind.
Thank you, Damien. Specifically to Claire, are you enjoying your course heading into the second year?
Oh, absolutely. Really looking forward to it. I had a really good first year this year with new facilities and everything like that. Just really, really excited to get a crack on.
Yeah, and are there any noticeable differences between last year and the start of your second year?
Yes, well, I was a Stafford student, so I was part of the move over to here. So all the studios that we're using at the moment are brand new. We've got all the cam and television centres, they've got specialised rooms for editing and sound editing, and all of that I'm just really looking forward to use within my course.
And are you involved in any societies or clubs this year?
Yes, football, the girls' football team. I didn't get a chance to do it last year, so really excited to start that and hopefully win some games this year.
Yeah, and what course are you studying here at Staffs?
I'm doing film production technology.
Thank you, Claire. And moving on to James, after seeing the 3 welcome weeks during your time here at Staffs, do you think there is anything else that university could do to improve welcome week?
I think this year's welcome week has been one of the best from the 3 years that I've seen. The amount of activities and things that were on and the student interaction to the rest of the university has been absolutely fantastic. It's really accommodated for the third and second year students moving from Stafford and all the freshers as well.
And how does the Stoke campus compare to the Stafford campus?
I really like the new Stoke campus because it's been kept really vibrant. There's a lot of student activity going on, whereas Stafford campus did get quite quiet sometimes. So it's always nice to see it busy and see everyone around the university.
And do you value the university as a whole heading into your hardest year?
Yeah, they've been absolutely fantastic for support, especially for us third years. And I'm looking forward to pushing final on into my third year.
And across the entirety of your time here at Staffs, what has been the greatest change you've made by the union towards the university?
I don't think there are any big major changes that I can think of, but there's lots and lots of changes that the union have helped to do to help the student experience and lecturer experience, everyone to just have a better university experience as a whole.
And do you have any ideas on what could improve the university for you within your final year?
I know it's been mentioned before today about like 24-hour lab access, especially as going into my final year. I'm going to want to try and get as much study time in as possible. So that would be something that everyone would like, as has been mentioned before. So that's something.
And I believe you're an academic representative. What does this role entail?
The academic reps are the communication between the students and the lecturers on the course, and it's really mainly about just getting in and communicating with your faculty and your students to improve the student experience and just to have a better university time overall.
And have there been any successes within that role for you?
Well, I've helped to improve one of the major modules on my course. It's one that the second and third years collaborate together. There have been issues in the past, and we've helped to improve the system and to improve everyone's experience. Obviously, it's going to be a new year now. There's a new system in place, but so far it's looking really good, and I'm looking forward to carrying on with that module.
And lastly, would you recommend to others to become a academic representative?
Definitely, it's a great role to get into, and especially for building confidence and getting to know the people on your course. It's a great way to interact with not only students but for lecturers as well.
Thank you very much for coming in today, guys. But now back over to Hannah for the latest union events coming up for you to get involved in.
Thank you very much, Josh. If you've enjoyed the events that took place throughout Welcome Week, then there's more of that coming in the next few weeks. Firstly, tonight is Army Gobble, so don't forget to buy your ticket through the union website, staffsunion.com, and get that camo gear on. I'm sure your Interaction Man is dying to come out. Tomorrow sees the Staff Society Showcase, so if you've ever wanted to be part of a sports team, fancied yourselves an amateur dramatic, or ever simply wanted to learn the ropes of poker so you can rob your flatmates of their luxury food items, then tomorrow at noon at the LRV is where you want to be for that. Also, tomorrow sees the first edition of Rock Karaoke, hosted by Mama G in Verve. Then Mucky on Friday to finish off the week. If you fancy winning big prizes this Sunday, then Ember Lounge is the place to be for a special Comic Con big quiz. Starting off next week on Monday, we will see Chris Lorenzo making an appearance at Displace with some drum and bass, the latest club night to be added to the LRV. Other guests that you can see at the LRV are Alex Mitten from Made in Chelsea at Mucky on the 7th of October, and also Lucy Spraggan Monday 10th of October in association with OMG. That's all for Union News. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, Hannah, and that's all we've got time for this programme of In the Spotlight. Thank you very much for watching, and get yourself off to Gobble.